Oh, okay. The red mage in this game is jack of all trades, master of none. So let's get into that. The way that magic works in this game is you have spell levels, level 1 through 8. There's no level 9. And you can learn 3 spells per level. What spells you can learn depends on your class. A red mage can learn both black and white magic, but not all of it. He can learn select black and select white magic spells. He can generally learn most of the low level ones, but then when you get to the high level, he starts to peter off. But you can also wear most of the armor and use most of the swords. So he's not quite as good at using armor and swords as the fighter, and he's not quite as good at casting magic as the white mage and black mage, but he can do like all of those jobs in one character. So he's pretty awesome, actually. Now in this game, there is something called a class upgrade. So in Final Fantasy 1, when you get out into the world as a whole and you get the airship, you can go to the an archipelago, like a set of islands out in the ocean, where there are caves in the islands, and in there you can find Bahamut, King of the Dragons. And Bahamut will tell you that if you can prove your courage to him by completing the Citadel of Trials, he will allow you to upgrade your classes. So you go to the Citadel Trials, you get a rat tail. You bring the rat tail back to Bahamut to prove your courage. And he's like, oh shit, a rat tail? Dude, why didn't you say so? And he upgrades all your classes. So the fighter becomes a knight. The red mage becomes a red wizard. The thief becomes a ninja, and the monk becomes a black belt. And the white mage and black mage become white wizard and black wizard. Upgrading from these classes, one, you get better stat bumps as you level up as the upgraded classes. So the sooner you do it, the better, honestly. But also, it unlocks more spells. So there are some spells that a red wizard can learn that a red mage can't. And there's the highest level of white and black magic a white and black mage can't learn, but a white and black wizard can. Also, the thief, when he becomes a ninja, can learn some low-level black magic, and the warrior, when he becomes a knight, can learn some low-level white magic, so he's kind of like a paladin. The stat bumps are semi-random, but they tend to be higher if you've had the class upgrade. This guy right here, in the black cloak, is not in the original game. He is tied to the new bonus dungeon that they added in the PSP remake, and right now he says nothing. But later on in the game, when we get to the final dungeon, you're going to see him again, and he's going to open up the way to the final bonus dungeon. So that's cool. Let's go ahead and spend our money on potions. All we need is potions. That's what the Beatles said, right? All you need is potions. But yeah, the stat bumps are definitely not fixed. In fact, if you watch my playthrough, oh, by the way, opening credits, we finished the prologue. If you watch my playthrough from May, which is on YouTube, and you watch Deshire's playthrough from like last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever, which is also on YouTube, you'll see vastly different stats for some of the characters. Like her white mage had way more hit points than normal. Her white mage was like her second highest hit points in the party. Even like her red mage was like struggling to keep up. Like for whatever reason, she was just getting really lucky with hit points on the white mage and really horrible luck with the red mage. So like the red mage was like wimpy compared to her white mage. It was kind of funny. Now the red mage can still wield better equipment generally, although there are some exceptions to that. There are some weapons late game that either any class can use, or there are like specific weapons for certain classes. Like there is a red mage only sword late game, there is a white mage only weapon, and there is one really good weapon near the end of the game. And I'm not talking bonus dungeons yet, I'm just talking about the regular game that anybody can fix, that can wield. So there are a lot of cool things you can do. So if you guys pay for that the challenge where you get to pick my party, and I have to do something like all white mages or beat the game with just a monk or something, then we're really gonna have to get into like, oh my god, what equipment is even available to me, right? how are we going to buff our party members if we don't have this magic or whatever? But thankfully we're not gonna have to deal with that this time. Even though I don't have a white mage and a black mage, the red mage can cast most of the buffs that I care about. And there are a lot of items in the game that allow you to cast spells. So like you'll find a rod that if you use the rod as an item, it casts Blizzara or something. Or you'll find a healing staff or a helmet. Or there's a set of gloves called the Giant's Gloves in the dungeon leading up to Kraken that lets you cast Temper or Saber on your weapon, which is the huge damage buff that melee people can use, which is going to be the key to us doing ridiculous damage to the fiends from there forward. Let's go ahead and save the game. There are a couple of fights on the way here that are a little bit annoying, and I did not stay at the end because I'm a dummy. So let's use a couple of these potions actually. Do that. The red mage actually doesn't have that many hit points. The red mage is only got 36 hit points. He's just lagging behind there. Alright. I've done a party of 4 red mages, which is super easy. I wouldn't even call that a challenge run. I've done a solo fighter. I have not done a solo monk. I think solo fighter is probably the easiest solo, because the fighter, when he has really good equipment, which he does, he has the best equipment in the game, and he's high level, a lot of monsters can only do 1 damage to him, so he's almost impervious to damage when he's in a solo. Because one thing you have to keep in mind with the solo run is that the way experience works in this game is that the monster is worth so much experience, and that experience gets divided among the living party members at the end of the fight. So if 3 of the party members are dead, like chat's dead right now, if 3 of the party members are dead, then the remaining party member gets 4 times as much experience as you would normally get from that fight, because it doesn't get divided. So like we just got 51 that time, chat got nothing. We don't have any Phoenix Downs or anything right now, so he's just gonna take a nap for a little bit. This is what you get for not having many hit points, man. Alright, so we gotta take out the Wargwolf first. Let's see, I've done a solo fighter, I've done 4 red mages, isn't really a challenge. I've done a bunch of different regular combinations. What else? I did 4 black mages one time, and that was actually pretty tough at some points. I've never attempted 4 white mages. I don't think 4 white mages is hard. I think 4 white mages is tedious, because 4 white mages just can't do very much damage until later in the game. But so like you run the risk of running out of MP trying to keep up with the healing because you're not doing enough damage to kill anything. The thing with Monk, and the thing that makes Monk hard, is that Monk does really good damage, as you're going to see with this Monk here. But as you're also seeing right there, Monk takes a lot of damage, because Monks don't wear equipment. So a Monk's damage from his fists and his defense values are based on his level. So the higher level he gets, the better and better he'll get. But he is much, much squishier than a fighter. Although he can put out more damage than a fighter, generally at high levels, because that he scales with his level. Whereas a fighter, I mean, you scale a little bit with your level because you get stat bumps, but your weapon stops scaling once you get the best weapon, right? Alright, so this town is having a pirate problem. First, we need to go to the church and resurrect... Is this the church? Resurrect our red mage. Staying at the inn, I do not believe brings him back to life. Which is convenient when you're doing a solo run, because you don't have to worry about accidentally resurrecting people and having to kill them again. Alright, let's see. Invis can raise someone's evasion, that'll be useful. Null shot can be useful in certain fights. What we're really gonna be looking for, what do we get? A second level of black? Temper is just hugely important. Temper raises one ally's attack. It raises their attack and accuracy stats so that they do more damage every time they attack. And it stacks with itself, which is... So you can cast Temper on them multiple times. There's a more powerful one later, which is self-only, called Saber, which is like a super Temper. And there's an item that people can use to cast it on themselves. And there's also Haste later, which doubles the number of hits you get. Because as you level up and get better at fighting, you swing your weapon more times per attack. We already have the spell that we need for this fight we're about to do. We need to get some money together for some more equipment probably, but I think what we're going to do is try and just beat this current fight and then buy equipment in the next city instead of spending our money here. So this fight here is versus a bunch of pirates. These pirates have a boat that we want and they're terrorizing the city, so we're going to teach them a lesson. This fight could be hard sometimes because there's 9 pirates. You got 9, they got a bit of an action economy thing, and I didn't heal because I'm dumb. So that's a thing. Alright, so I'm gonna have you attack. I'm gonna have you, most importantly, cast Sleep to put them all to sleep, or at least some of them. And have you heal the red mage before he gets hit, hopefully. And attack. Please don't hit the red mage. Please don't hit the red mage. Hit the red mage, I'm loading the save. Come on, red mage, cast your spell. Or do a potion. Do one of these things, guys. We're gonna have to move the red mage down the line, I think, because like he has no hit points. Alright, here's Sleep. We got 4 of them, so there's only 3 that are still awake. We're gonna focus on those first. Hitting them will wake them up, so we don't want to hit them if they're sleeping. If we can avoid it. Now thankfully these guys for the most part will one-shot them, so even if they hit them while they're sleeping it's not that big a deal. But we still want to focus on the ones that are sleeping, that are awake first, because they're the ones that can still attack us. Alright. Oh wait, back up. That's the 2 of them woke up. Alright, and that's gonna be that fight. This is technically a boss, I think. But it's over now. More levels, and more importantly we get a boat. What a lot of people will do when they're doing like a speedrun at this point is there's a mini game you can play on the boat doing like a slide puzzle, and if you can do it really fast you can get all kinds of really nice rewards from it, like elixirs, which you can then sell to have like a ridiculous amount of money and stuff. But I'm not good at slide puzzles. So, yeah, I'll just kind of ignore that. So the downside of fighters is that they cost so damn much to keep up with. I want to save my money and carry on to the next town if we can. Kind of skip over an upgrade to conserve money. We do need to buy some spells though. So the way the spells work is each spell is only sold in one place. Generally, as you come to a new town, there'll be a new level of spells available in it. We need Temper. Anything we absolutely have to have here? Invis would be good. Alright. And then when we get to the Elven City, which is the next town, they'll have the next level of spells. And we may not even be able to learn them yet because you have to be a certain level to cast a certain level of spell, depending on your class. So, like the red mage might not be able to cast that level of spell yet, I'm not sure. I think, given his hit points, we're gonna move the thief up and move the red mage down. Even though the red mage wears better armor than the thief, he just has no hit points right now. Alright, so we're gonna get a little bit of money here. So I can buy that spell. And then we're gonna head to the Elven place because they'll have stronger monsters there. It might be worth it to buy this gear just to make us level faster. I don't know. I think it'd be faster not to buy it. Need enough to stay at the end too. Like one more fight. Okay. Love it when they attack the fighter. The fighter doesn't take damage. Hey, Duzshire! About to start your own stream, huh? Thanks for contributing to the challenge. Oh, you want all of them, huh? That's 50 yellow knight here. Alright. Yeah, fair enough. I'll play him. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever really played through this game with a thief. The thief is like... There's nothing really special about him. I think he gets more evasion, maybe. He gets a little bit of black magic when he levels up. I don't know. He's not like he can steal or anything, you know? If he could steal, I'd always want him. Hey! Tai Chi Zen, welcome to the stream. Alright, let's head on over to the Elven Kingdom over here. We're gonna get down here to the Elven Kingdom, and then we need to grind for a little bit to get some money together because we're gonna need better equipment. For sure. And there's some ogres in these woods. Oh, sadly, also there's cobras. Cobras can poison us, which they just did. We don't have any antidotes yet, but they sell them in the next town over. So. Good old poison. We can learn poison out here too, but we don't have enough money to buy the spell. There's those ogres I was talking about. Ogres are probably our best bet for grinding out gold right now, I think. And XP, probably. It'll get a lot easier once we get some of the new equipment. We're still working off of equipment from the first town. Okay. I don't think poison will actually kill him. I think it'll drop him to 1. Oh my god. He took like 2 steps. And I don't think the poison will actually kill him. It just makes it easier for enemies to kill him. I think that it'll stop at 1 hit point. I'm not 100% on that though. Oh my god, like literally 2 steps fight, 2 steps fight, huh? Alright. Whenever you get poisoned, suddenly all the fights, right? At least we're leveling up. Alright, the item shop's over here. Let's go ahead and buy a bunch of these. We're gonna need them. Yeah, it stopped at 1. Alright. Good to know. It starts to get to the point where using the N doesn't even make sense versus potions because it's 50... It's up to 100 gil now to stay at the end, which is still worth it for the moment, but pretty soon the potions are going to be the cheaper option. Eventually we'll get into the game and we'll have so much money we won't know what to do with it. Especially not having to buy the high level spells, or at least not 2 sets of them. Alright, let's see what spells are available here so we know what we're working with. Alright, we're going to want Fira. That's our first AoE spell. Does fire damage to everybody. So that's, what was that, 1,000? Yeah, so I need 1,000 for that. And here lies Link. Let's see, Cura, just a better Cure spell. And Heal is our AoE heal. So, I mean, theoretically, no matter what we choose, we're talking 3,000 gil for spells there. We're looking on weapons. I want to buy the weapon upgrades first. We can get Iron Nunchaku. We can get sabers for these 3. So that's like 1,000 gil there. Also, let's see if I think we could probably take off the Nunchaku and be better now. Let's see. 2033. No, the Nunchucks are still better, it looks like. For the moment. Alright, well, let's get some money together and see about buying all that stuff. So we're going to start with the weapons, because that'll be what'll speed up our grinding the most. Well, that and Fira, actually. Being able to just throw fire spells around will speed up a lot of the fights. I have to check every couple levels and see if the monk's still benefiting from his weapon or not, because eventually he is going to get to the point where he's better off without a weapon. Like I said, his unarmed damage is based on his level, so we have to wait for him to get to that level. If we're doing a solo monk, he'd level up faster. I wonder how that would turn out. You have to like 99. What kind of damage he puts out then? And what his evasion gets to? I guess it's a little random. Oof. See, like, I'd love to use Fira right there. Just like wipe out those little Gigas worms. At least it's not the guys that poison us. Every time we get poisoned, it's like, okay, we just, you know, dropped a chunk of chains on an antidote again. Look how much damage that monk is doing already, though. Like, okay, so let's compare this. 19 damage from the thief, 10 damage from the red mage, 27 damage from the fighter, 38 from the monk. The monk is a damage beast. He just doesn't have as much defense. wonder if a party of all monks would just like tear things up, maybe. They wouldn't have any magic ever, though. Monks, even when they're upgraded, don't get magic. Because ogres are definitely probably our best. Definitely probably. Does definitely probably mean anything? Well, they're definitely probably our best source of money right now. Ugh. I'm not going to heal poison until after the fight's over, because they'll just get poisoned again, right? Look at this. Alright, so for those of you who are just joining us, just to, you know, throw that advertisement out there again, we are going to be playing through all the Final Fantasies on this channel. So if you like Final Fantasy, buckle up, hit that follow button, and settle in for like a year of Final Fantasy. Some of them we may even play multiple times. I just love these games. This is probably still my favorite RPG series, even given some of the changes that I haven't liked in the newer ones. I just love... There's a reason that when people make like top 10 RPG lists, they'll be like top 10 JRPGs that aren't Square Enix or that aren't Final Fantasy. It's like, because I don't want my list to be dominated, right? Or they'll be like, I'm gonna do top 10 of whatever, but I'm only putting one from each series so that they can put in one Final Fantasy and then not mentioning it again, you know? It's always interesting to talk to people about their favorite Final Fantasy too, because there's just so many wildly differing opinions about Final Fantasies. Like, some people really love 6, some people really love 4, some people really love 9 or 7 or 8 even. Some people really love 10. I think a lot of times it depends on when you came in, like where you were when you came into the series. Like, I've met people on the stream who like their favorite Final Fantasy is 13 because they didn't play Final Fantasy until the PS4, and that was their introduction to Final Fantasy, and they love it, and that's their favorite, you know? Whereas most people, I feel like if they came in like at the Super Nintendo era, I feel like players that started playing with like Final Fantasy 4, 5, and 6 generally aren't fans of 13 as much. So it's like, there's these like big differences between the fan base even. Like, a lot of people that started playing on the PS2, Final Fantasy X is their favorite. A lot of people that started playing on the PS1, it's Final Fantasy VII. A lot of times it tends to be your first. You got all that nostalgia tied to it. There's nothing wrong with that. There are a couple of them though that you don't usually hear people saying are their favorites. Either a lot of times it's the older ones, like the really older ones, or ones that we didn't even get in America for a long time. Or if we did get them, they had a lot of issues. Like, Final Fantasy II isn't well loved. I like Final Fantasy II, especially the upgraded versions where they've tweaked the leveling system some. And you'll see that when we get to it, like next week, right? But a lot of people didn't like Final Fantasy II, especially when it came out, and then at this point it's almost kind of obscure, you know, because it's just a much older game. Alright, let's go stay at the inn and buy some equipment. We got 2,000 gil. I just distract myself talking about Final Fantasy and look up and be done grinding. That'd be great, right? At least now, we're going to grind some more, but we're going to grind faster now with better loot, better equipment. We got to get nice and geared up from this town because we are heading to the Marsh Cave after this to get the crown to take up to fight Astos so we can save the Elven King. And we're going to need better loot for all of that. Alright, so get 3 sabers. And I wish it would actually show me the stats, right? Like, I'm guessing the iron nunchaku are better than whatever this thing is, because this is a staff. I mean, he can use it, but is it really meant to be a monk weapon? This is definitely a monk weapon, so let's buy this one. Oh, okay, here we go. 16 attack. This one has 14. Alright, so that one. Bing, bang, boom. Alright. It tells you once you click on it. Alright. And the original didn't tell you crap. It told you nothing. You figured it out yourself. Alright. Saber, 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 iron and chaku, and oh my god. Alright, so his defense with clothes on is 3, and his evasion's 57. You take them off, it goes up to 6 and 59. He's better without it. I don't know as far as like when we go and get like helmets and gloves, if those would be good for him. It might be. Let's look into that. Alright, so we've got our weapons upgraded. We've still got 715 left over. Let's go check our possible armor situation. Which is this way, right? Yeah. Naked monk stats, Dumbag proves. Alright, so we could get the iron armor. But we could also get other stuff. Oh man, the copper armlet. That's interesting. Alright, I think we get stuff that everyone can use first. These cheaper ones, we can get more upgrades across the board. Alright, so we get a helm. And I'm going to get 1 leather cap. Because the fighter's currently wearing a leather cap, and I'm not sure if I want the monk to wear it or not. So we're going to test that. And we'll go ahead and get the fighter's shield. We don't really get to dual wield weapons until part 2, but in Final Fantasy 2 we're going to be able to dual wield, and that'll be fun. Alright, so we need possibly 640 for his iron armor and 800 for a copper armlet for the monk, but I'm not sure if I really want that or not. I might save and buy it and test it out. And be able to undo it, you know? If it's like, it's just one of those instances where it's like, I'm not sure if that's what I want. Alright, so we're gonna come over here to this guy first. And boom. Alright. So, first of all, remove that. What is this cap doing for us? We have 658. If we remove it, we're better without it. So we don't want it. We come back here, we can put leather caps on these guys. It does lower their evasion a little bit, but it raises their defense. So that's okay. Like, he is more evasive without armor on. It's interesting, but he gains... It's trading 1 for 1 actually for the leather cap. I don't remember the exact calculation, but I feel like defense is literally just like almost like DR in this one. And like 1% chance to hit for like 1 DR is a pretty good trade. There is some equipment that we're going to need to buy from the previous town, I think, that they just don't have here. First, we're going to work on this situation and our spell situation here, and then we're probably going to head back to the other town of Pravica for just a minute. And now, there's also, if you've noticed earlier, level 4 spells here. We're going to want haste, for sure. Haste is a very, very, very good buff that we're going to want for all these physical attackers to murder bosses later. It doubles the amount of hits you get per fight, per attack action. So we need 2500 for haste. And they have level 4 white magic too. Oh, you know what? Alright, red mages can learn poison. Red mages can learn null frost, but they can't learn fear or vox. You'll see on the right, like, they go off. Now, a red wizard can learn vox, but not a red mage. I don't really care over much. Not that many enemies cast silence anyways. Poison is handy. You're basically paying 2500 to never have to buy another antidote again. I'm not sure if that pays off. Honestly, I don't know if you need the antidotes that many times, but Just want to make sure. Yes, he can learn haste. The ninja can learn haste later too, which is also very good. That means the ninja can help haste people later. In fact, the ninja can learn all of these. Nice. All right. Usually sleep, it hits everybody. Sleeper hits only one person, but I think it's more potent, I guess. And we got another AoE spell there. I think it's slightly stronger, right? The only one we really care about over much is haste, honestly. Okay. We need 2,500 for haste. And we need like 3,000 for third level spells. We're talking 3,500 for spells, maybe another 1,000 or 2,000 for other assorted equipment. Let's go ahead and save the game. We've got some equipment upgrades. We should be able to grind out the next little bit of money a lot faster. Got all those new spiffy weapons. Oops.